That hug you thought was innocent, it wasn't. Something left you, something they took, and your energy knows it. Listen carefully. This is not a coincidence. This is not just a message. This is a warning. Woman, you've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange shift in your energy, that heaviness in your chest, that quiet confusion you couldn't explain. And it all started after that hug. Not every hug is pure, and that's something most people don't realize until they feel the shift within themselves. A hug is supposed to feel safe, warm, and comforting. It's meant to reassure you, to connect hearts without words. But the truth is, not every embrace comes from a place of genuine love or care. Sometimes people carry hidden intentions, unspoken emotions, or even unresolved darkness within them, and when they come close to you, they bring all of that energy with them. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit feels it instantly. That's why there are moments when someone hugs you, and instead of feeling uplifted, you walk away feeling heavy, confused, or strangely distant from yourself. Energy is real, whether people choose to believe it or not. Every person you interact with carries a certain vibration shaped by their thoughts, their emotions, and their intentions. When someone embraces you, even for a few seconds, there is an exchange happening, something deeper than physical touch. If their heart is pure, you feel peace. If their intentions are genuine, you feel comfort. But if they are filled with jealousy, negativity, or hidden motives, that energy doesn't just stay with them, it transfers. And you, being open and kind, may unknowingly absorb what they carry. The dangerous part is that this doesn't always happen in obvious ways. The person might smile at you, speak kindly, and appear completely normal on the surface. But not everything is as it seems. Some people know how to hide their true feelings behind friendly gestures, and a hug becomes their way of getting close enough to you, close enough to tap into your energy. After that moment, you may find yourself overthinking, feeling emotionally off balance, or losing the sense of peace you once had. You might not immediately connect it to that hug, but deep down, something inside you recognizes the change. This is why your intuition is so important. Your spirit is always aware, even when your mind tries to make excuses for others. If something feels off, it usually is. That uneasy feeling you get after certain interactions is not random, it's a signal. It's your inner self trying to protect you, trying to tell you to be more mindful of who you allow into your personal space, because not everyone deserves that level of closeness, and not everyone should have access to your energy. Understanding this doesn't mean you stop being kind or loving. It simply means you become more aware, more selective, and more protective of your peace. You begin to recognize that your energy is valuable, and not everyone has the right to touch it, influence it, or take from it. When you start listening to yourself and honoring those feelings, you regain control. You become stronger, wiser, and more grounded in who you are. And most importantly, you stop allowing temporary moments with the wrong people to have lasting effects on your spirit. Your energy was touched in a way you may not have fully understood at first. That recent hug didn't just feel like a simple physical moment. It went deeper than that. It reached into your emotional and spiritual space, and something about it lingered long after the arms were gone. At the time, you might have brushed it off, thinking it was just another interaction, just another passing moment. But later, you noticed the shift. You felt it in your mood, in your thoughts, in the quiet way your peace seemed to slip away without explanation. It wasn't loud or obvious, but it was real. You felt more tired than usual, more distracted, maybe even a little disconnected from yourself. This is what happens when energy is exchanged without awareness. Human beings are not just physical bodies. We are emotional and spiritual beings carrying unseen weight, unseen light, and unseen battles. When someone comes close to you, especially in a moment as intimate as a hug, there is a transfer that takes place. If that person is grounded, positive, and genuine, you feel uplifted. But if they are carrying stress, negativity, envy, or emotional chaos, that energy doesn't just stay contained within them. It looks for somewhere to go, and sometimes, without you realizing it, it settles into you. That's why after that hug, things didn't feel the same. You may have found yourself overthinking small things, feeling uneasy without knowing why, or struggling to feel the same clarity you had before. It's not because you're weak, and it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because something entered your space that didn't belong there. Your system reacted to it even if your mind couldn't immediately explain it. Your peace was interrupted, your balance was shaken, and your spirit was trying to process something unfamiliar. What makes it even more confusing is that the person may not have seemed harmful at all. They may have smiled, spoken kindly, or acted as if everything was normal. But energy doesn't lie, even when people do. You can't always see someone's intentions, but you can feel their impact, that heaviness, that subtle discomfort, that feeling of being off is not something to ignore. It's a sign that your inner world was affected in a way that goes beyond what's visible. The important thing to understand is that just because your energy was touched doesn't mean it's permanently changed or lost. You still have control over your space, your emotions, and your spirit. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming your balance. When you recognize that something has affected you, you can begin to reset, to ground yourself, and to reconnect with who you truly are. You can choose to release what isn't yours and bring yourself back to a place of peace. This experience is not meant to break you. It's meant to wake you up. It's teaching you to be more aware of who you allow close, more mindful of what you feel, and more protective of your inner world, because your energy is not something casual or replaceable. It is a part of who you are, and it deserves to be guarded with intention. Your intuition knew first, even before you could explain anything with logic or reason. Deep inside, there was a quiet signal, a subtle feeling that something wasn't right. It didn't come as a loud voice or a clear thought. It came as a sensation, a pause in your comfort, a slight tension in your chest, or a moment of unease you couldn't quite place. At the time, you may have ignored it. You may have told yourself you were overthinking, that it was nothing, that everything was fine. But that inner voice doesn't speak to be dismissed. It speaks to protect you, to guide you, to warn you before your mind can catch up with what your spirit already understands. Intuition doesn't need proof. It doesn't rely on visible evidence or logical explanations. It works on a deeper level, picking up on energy, intentions, and truths that are often hidden beneath the surface. That's why, even in a moment that looked normal, Like a simple hug, your inner self reacted differently. While your mind saw a friendly gesture, your intuition felt something else. It noticed the energy behind the action, the emotion behind the touch, the truth behind the moment. And it tried to alert you in the only way it could, through feeling. You might remember that brief moment when something inside you hesitated. Maybe it was quick, almost unnoticeable, but it was there, a slight discomfort, a feeling that something was off, even if everything on the outside seemed perfectly fine. That was your intuition speaking. It didn't shout, but it didn't need to. Its power is in its quiet persistence. It plants a seed of awareness, hoping you'll listen before the impact becomes stronger. The challenge is that we often override that voice. We've been conditioned to trust what we see more than what we feel. We convince ourselves to be polite, to be understanding, to give people the benefit of the doubt. Even when something inside us is telling us to be careful, we silence our instincts to avoid seeming rude or overly sensitive. But in doing so, we disconnect from one of the most powerful tools we have. Your intuition is not a weakness, it is your inner protection system. It is there to keep you aligned, to keep you safe, and to keep you aware of what your eyes cannot see. When you look back now, things start to make more sense. That feeling you couldn't explain, that shift you noticed afterward, that emotional imbalance that followed, it all connects. Your intuition recognized the change before it fully happened. It warned you, gently but clearly, that something about that moment was not aligned with your peace. And even though your mind may have taken time to catch up, your spirit already knew. The lesson here is not to regret ignoring that feeling, but to learn from it, to start trusting yourself more, to start listening more closely to that quiet voice within. Because it will always speak the truth, even when everything around you tries to convince you otherwise. When you begin to honor your intuition, you move differently. You become more aware, more grounded, and more in tune with what truly serves you. And most importantly, you stop second guessing the very part of you that was designed to guide you from the beginning. Protecting and reclaiming your power begins with a simple realization: your energy is valuable, and not everyone deserves access to it. You are not here to carry the weight of other people's emotions, their confusion, or their hidden intentions. Yet, for so long, you may have allowed it without even realizing it. You gave your time freely, your presence openly, and your trust without hesitation. And while that speaks to your kindness, it also made you vulnerable to being drained by those who do not pour back into you. Now is the moment where that changes. Now is the moment you become intentional about what you allow and who you allow it from. Guarding your energy does not mean building walls so high that no one can reach you. It means becoming aware of your limits and respecting them. It means recognizing when something or someone disturbs your peace and having the strength to step back without guilt. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting what is yours. When you set boundaries, you are not being difficult or cold. You are choosing self-respect. You are saying that your peace matters, your clarity matters, and your well-being is not something to be compromised for the comfort of others. Reclaiming your power also means taking responsibility for your inner state. Even if something was taken from you, your peace, your clarity, your sense of balance, it does not mean it is gone forever. Nothing that truly belongs to you can be permanently lost. It may feel distant, it may feel weakened, but it is still within you, waiting to be restored. The moment you become aware of what has affected you, you gain the ability to shift it. You begin to release what is not yours, to let go of the heaviness that does not belong in your spirit, and to reconnect with your true self. This process is not always instant, but it is powerful. It starts with small intentional actions. Taking time for yourself, stepping away from environments that drain you, and surrounding yourself with people who bring genuine peace into your life. It involves listening more closely to your inner voice and honoring what it tells you, even when it's inconvenient. The more you do this, the stronger you become. The more you protect your energy, the less others can disturb it. There is also strength in understanding that you are not a victim of what happened. You are someone who experienced something, learned from it, and is now rising above it. Your power was never truly taken, it was only momentarily overshadowed. And now, with awareness, you are bringing it back to the surface. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is more aware, more grounded, and more in control. As you move forward, you will notice a shift. You will become more selective with your time, your space, and your connections. You will no longer feel obligated to accept every interaction or to open yourself up to everyone who approaches you. And in that selectiveness, you will find peace, because protecting your energy is not just about avoiding negativity. It's about creating a life where your spirit feels safe, balanced, and fully aligned with who you are meant to be. Woman, listen carefully. What I've shared with you today is not just advice, it's a warning, a call to awaken. Not every hug is pure, not every gesture comes from love, and sometimes the people closest to you can take what you didn't even know was being given. Your energy was touched, your peace disrupted, and your spirit nudged in ways your mind didn't understand. But here's the truth. The moment you start trusting yourself, listening to your intuition, and protecting what is yours, nothing can take your power from you. What was lost can be restored, what was drained can be renewed, and what was taken can be reclaimed. This is your reminder to honor your spirit, guard your heart, and walk forward with awareness. Stand strong, stand tall, and never allow anyone to dim your light again. Your energy is yours, and it is unstoppable.